Oh, it's good to be back, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Definitely helps when you know what you're bloody doing. I've just forgotten how to work this thing after a week off.
That's all it takes. That's literally all it takes.
Oh my god.
It's good. It's good to not be in the same room together. That was more than enough last week. Last week was more than enough for the year.
All right, we're on 7 o'clock. Let's do it.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, great flick on Alan Armstrong. Oh, what a beauty! Oh, what a beauty! I'm waiting all my life for that. What a screamer!
Top of the league. Hello, thanks for joining us for that sweet, sweet sound of the Scarf Bagara War with the most mediocre county double act since Thurnham McKnight darkened the doors of Edgeley Park. I'm Nick Lee. I'll be your unsettling presence for the evening, and joining me is Redbridge's best podcast to 2015 through to 2022, Russ Johnson. Hello, mate.
Hey, up. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, we'll get on to last night. We've got two games to talk. We've got the Dagenham game and the Redbridge game to talk about before that. So, in a week where Chesterfield furloughed the manager, taking it to new extremes, what have we got coming up, pal?
We have got going to talk about Dags win, Maidenhead win, Collar masterclass, current form, top of the league, Hogan the Redeemer, Rooney returns, Chesterfield crumbling.
Yeah, the club as crooked as the spire that inspired their nickname.
Nice. Well, they're at the very least they are entertaining, aren't they? And we'll also get Chloe Beresford, our guest, out straight after this.
This is the Scarf Bagara War, a Stockport County fan-created podcast, blog, YouTube live show and website. Find us at thescarfbagarawar.co.uk. For county fans, by county fans.
Hello, Chloe.
Hello, Chloe.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you feeling?
It is a good evening. It is.
It is. I'm feeling pretty much top of the league.
Way! Someone said it. I was hoping but you said it. Thank you very much. I keep on going into Jimmy Savile like I did a couple of weeks ago. Thank you very much. I don't know why.
Someone's got it.
That's not good.
No, it's not good at all. Before we start, just like to say welcome to everybody who's watching live. There's quite a few of you on tonight. All the usual names. Again, too many to go through, but I've just got to say I met recently Phil Lloyd and PJRC. What an absolute pleasure it was as well. So cheers for meeting me, guys, and coming over and saying hello. So yeah.
Oh yeah, because you get spotted, don't you? You're the one who gets. I've told you I'm just unapproachable. Even last week at the live show, I was really nice to people. I said to people, I was like, "Thank you for your support." You know, that's a really nice thing to say when you're as unapproachable as me.
As unapproachable.
I think I do give that vibe.
Yeah, you do a bit. I go around talking like Jimmy Savile for for some reason, and people still approach me. It's weird. Good as well. I've got a poll on the on YouTube. So if you have a look at that poll and do subscribe and like as well. It's who is our biggest threat in terms of the title race. Now we're definitely in the title race. I mean, we were anyway, but you know what I mean.
We are the title race.
Yeah, we are.
Is there an option for us? Because we're the only ones who can stop us winning it.
That's a good. Well, in the other column, you can comment. We're the only ones. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not going to add all these up or anything. Anyway, Chloe, how have you been since we last spoke to you? It's been a while.
Yeah, good. Busy with my podcast, but yeah, all good. Loving it.
Good stuff. Dagenham and Redbridge then. We'll cover that one first. And I'm holding me. I don't know why I'm doing that. Sorry, Nick. I'm holding me cup like an old woman. Dagenham and Redbridge on Saturday on the box. 2-0, obviously. What did you make of it? I mean, Dagenham, even at the time, were the most attacking team in the league, and I think even now they are the highest scoring along with us now after our 3-0 win
Redbridge are
last
pretty
night.
good as well.
There's what?
Redbridge are pretty good as well.
You know what I mean? Don't start splitting hairs and wasting time.
I wasn't taking a piss out of you. I was just being daft.
Oh, right.
You know, if you can't be daft when you're top of Division 5 of the football pyramid, when can you be daft?
Yeah, this is true. So yeah, so they're really attacking. I saw a stat on my travels. You know, not just goals but balls into the box and attempts. Yet it was a really good start from us, and in the end, it seemed like a straightforward 2-0 win.
Yeah, I think getting out of the blocks that quickly, it kind of killed it, didn't it, really? I think maybe in other games we would have carried on. You know, in other games we've seen County just keep pouring forward and keep going for more and more goals. But I think actually away from home and in that kind of game, shutting up shop the way they did, I think it was a really sort of controlled, professional performance. Maybe not quite as exciting as we're used to, but they just got the job done. And I think Challoner keeps talking about winning in different ways, finding different ways to win, and that was definitely one of those games where you just do what it takes.
That's absolutely it. It's so nice to just have it done. 5 minutes in, done for the night. Like just do some pottering, put the tea on early. Oh, it's great, isn't it? and even like BT Sport, kind of like they tend to do their best to like sort of do us down. I find they spent a lot of time going on about an offside that wasn't offside, and they did it earlier in the season when was it the Southend game that was televised, and they spent most of the game going on about a penalty shout that was nowhere near being one. It just seems with us they just want to discredit us. But then Adam Virgo was on Twitter saying he fancies us for the title now. That's a bold prediction, isn't it?
I've noticed that about some other outlets as well. Some blogs that I see through the Fan Hub app, actually, because that's where I consume all of my fan content, and that's where you should as well. But yeah, some of the National League blogs on there, I'm starting to see, and I've seen it all season. To be fair, they're concentrating on other teams and other ties, and we rarely get a mention. You know,
Do you think it's because they want to sound more interesting by not backing the team that are sort of favourites, if you know what I mean? Like, they don't want to state the obvious. They want to find a bit more of an interesting angle, and maybe going on about us is, you know, it feels a bit straightforward for them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. It's a bit contrarian, isn't it? It's yeah, it's weird. But I've noticed we don't. Every other club that's on, they seem to have an ex-player doing punditry, but they've never had an ex-county player on the. I mean, just putting it out there, Gary Stockforth.
Could you imagine?
Oh God, BT would just get taken off air. I think if last week's anything to go by.
Yeah, well, I think we could probably touch on a bit of that later on in the show, can't we? About how that went and some of the stories. Right. We're not going to relay some of the stories. You had to be there. That's what pretty much, yeah, because none of it we could put out, to be fair. So yeah, I mean, you're right. It's almost like you know when a big person's fighting a small person after we'd scored 2 goals. It was like the big person had the hand on the head of the small person, and the small person went like that. Yeah. That was Dagenham. So we just had them at like arm's length, going, "Nah, mate, you're not even getting close." And Collar had 2 really good chances in the first half, didn't he? I think, especially that one that he sort of played through, and the goalkeeper did well to tip over. In the first
flick on header from Jennings as well. Jennings playing the target man role there and flicking. That was goal of the season contender right there, wasn't it? If it had gone in.
If it had gone in. Okay.
I'm so excited. I'm imagining goals now.
Yeah.
we've scored like nearly 3 a game under Challoner. I don't think I need to be adding more onto it.
Well, we'll come to all those stats later. We've scored 47 in the league now, which is the joint highest. But we hit the bar in the second half as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it could have been more, and I don't remember them having much of a big chance. I mean, there was probably that first one in the first half, where I think Palmer came across and did an emergency block where they were dilly-dallying around in the box a bit. But that's the only one I can remember. To be fair, I did start drinking at 4:00, so I wasn't, I'd had a few by then, to be fair.
Yeah, two Carlsbergs in that time. Woo.
And someone's just pointed out we have actually done some research this week. We've got more research to come. We've learnt our lesson, Si. We've learnt our lesson from last week.
Well, I just get all my stats from Si's message board posts. So just 5 to 7. Have a quick look at what he's been saying. Job's a good one.
Yeah,
should have done that last week, really.
So just to let you in on this, and you, Chloe, in the live show last week, we turned up and had, done very little research, and things had moved on. So Flinny and Gaz, they weren't in the footballing positions that they held when we last checked. Let's put it that way.
and they both came up in the first 5 minutes as well, didn't they? And it just all the credibility we had's gone. Yeah.
So just like County went 2-0 up in the first 5 minutes, you were 2-0 down.
We were absolutely 2-0 down.
Yeah. 2-0 down and a man down, I'd say. It was an uphill battle, wasn't it?
It was. So the Dagenham match, it felt a bit straightforward, and we didn't have to play our best. I mean, you said it before, Chloe, about Charlie saying that we have to win differently. That was definitely a different way to win. And I guess we'll come on to the Maidenhead match in a minute. But anything more about the Dagenham match? Anything sticks out?
It's just great to not have a set, because it's been 2 games this week that were kind of an indicator of where we are. Particularly when you go back to the first day of the season against Dagenham, where they just gave us a run around. It's absolutely embarrassing. So it's a great indicator. 6 points from those 2. It should be 9, obviously, because we beat Dagenham and Redbridge. But I'm just going to keep banging that drum roll. It's all right, mate. But it's just to have a Saturday, just no nerves or anything. Just
because I think even in the past when we've had good teams, it seems like you go till 2-0 up early on, and then in the second half they get a goal back, and then you're panicking, and it doesn't have that feel anymore, really.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I think we've used this as a podcast title before, but unsettlingly competent. Again, it's just worrying when we're that competent. It's like, well, can someone mess? Can we do some? Can we shoot ourselves in the foot somehow, please? But we're not.
No, and even under many of the past managers we've had. I mean, I know we weren't at home against Dagenham and Redbridge, but at 2-0 up, there's always that element of we're defending, and I've always said it. We're defending in the Cheadle end with that deep, but there wasn't even that, was there? There was no like you say, no emergency sort of, all hands on deck kind of feel to it.
No, because it was more like we were dictating what happened. We were controlling the game rather than letting them do their thing. It was like we'd gone 2-0 up, and then we purposely stifled them. So it's not that same thing where, you go 2-0 up and then you take the foot off the gas. It wasn't like that.
I did enjoy us giving the ball, did we put the ball out of touch like last minute, and Challoner reacted like someone had just walked into his house and pissed on his kids. I was like, that's the sort of high standards that you want, isn't it? Because that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to, when we are playing the teams around, it's going to come down to fine margins.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Is you referring to what Adam Booth's saying there on the comments? I think he picks up on that.
That's the one.
Yeah. Adam Booth, great to see DC fuming in the last few minutes because we misplaced one pass. That's what you want, is the high standards that he sets. And interestingly enough, and I'll just segue for one little second. I listened to a Chesterfield podcast this week.
Are they all right?
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah, they're okay, and they are coming on our show in a few weeks. I'll remind everybody of that at the end of the show. But it was good listening to them, how they were saying how angry James Rowe gets on the touchline, and that's a sign of him being top of his game and not wanting extra standards.
I mean, there's getting angry, and then saying, I'll bite your effing nose off, you dweeb. I mean, dweeb, big respect to him for using dweeb. I had flashbacks to being called a dweeb in school, so I'm quite glad he's been potted.
To be fair, he didn't swear, did he? I don't think he swore, did he? Did he
Yeah.
swear?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he swore.
Yeah.
He swore and then came out with dweeb. Anyway,
Yeah,
let's move on.
I know. It's like on Crime Watch, isn't it? Where they're like, get your hands up, you melon. It's like, you already sworn, mate. Come on.
So, talking about finding new ways to win, we faced Maidenhead last night. Obviously, they're off the back of two, back-to-back wins against Halifax and Chesterfield. Beat Halifax 1-0 at home, and then, they beat Chesterfield 3-2 at home. I think they were both at home, weren't they? 2-0 up against Chesterfield. Got pegged back and then got an 80th minute winner. But their away form is poor. So, pre-match, were you expecting to win, or was you expecting a tough match? What were you expecting?
I think a tough match, really, because of those two results that they'd got. But I still thought we would win. I just thought it might not be a walk in the park, and certainly first half it wasn't, was it?
No.
Yeah, we looked very leggy first half. It was almost like the game came like a few hours too early, considering it would have been an early hours Sunday getting home from Dagenham at the earliest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about where you guys were sitting, but near me, the moaning was just shocking. It was just, it was terrible. And I kind of thought to myself, look, we're in the position now where we're so used to controlling games and being on the front foot and scoring goals that you get a first half. And yeah, we were lucky not to concede, but we didn't concede. Yeah. And like you say, we were off the back of a long away trip. And I think it's testament to the high tempo football that we normally play that it looks so bad. But I think Challoner referred to it in his post-match comments about some of the sort of atmosphere when it was up to half time. And I think, it's about expectations are a little bit high, maybe.
Yeah.
And and a title race is never easy, is it? It's never going to be a walk in the park. And the fact that we came through that unscathed was, credit to County and credit to the opposition as well, because they came, I think, with quite a good game plan and in the end were probably didn't deserve to lose 3-0.
I think Alan Devonshire's a very good manager at this level. I think he's someone I know Jim Gannon spoke highly of on a number of occasions, but he's always with one of the smaller clubs, but they're always well organised. I think he must have taken. I think of all the managers we've come up against in this league, I bet he's taken the most points off us. It wouldn't surprise me.
They were definitely well organised. You could see them getting back into their shape all the time when we were attacking, and
it was that. Definitely, the midfield press was very high intensity. Not probably secondary was the high press. They didn't let Collar and Croasdale have a quarter of a second on the ball. It was they were just at them all the time, weren't they?
But was the pressing part of their game plan, or was it just because it was really, really cold?
It's not Sunday league, you might as well run around. You might as well run around if it's cold.
The Jesse Lingard approach.
Yeah, I think I've just seen somebody. I think it was Gaz Eccleston, just saying in the comments that we paid them too much respect. I'm not so sure about that. I think it's just they came with a really, really structured game plan, and it was working. And we were lucky not to quit half, 1 or 2-0 down, but. Like I forget which one of you said it. We need to find different ways to win. I almost see it as a positive that they've come and done that to us, and it was Maidenhead.
Still not scored.
And they've still not scored, and it was Maidenhead because if Chesterfield, we're going to get Chesterfield, they're going to come and do that a week on Tuesday, 2 weeks yesterday, whatever. They're going to come and have a go at us. They definitely are. So at least it's not the first time it's happened. Maidenhead played like they were fourth in the first half, and then they were 19th in the second half.
Yeah, posed much more of a threat than Dagenham did.
Yeah, and actually, a bit like what you said, Russ, if you can come up against a team like that and still with a 3-0 win, that is more valuable than a dead easy 5-0, isn't it? In terms of things you can learn from it, in terms of building the confidence that we didn't concede and we did win 3-0. And even when you've got tough periods in matches, that you can come through them. And I think that is actually a massive, massive positive to have played poorly. And clearly, they responded very well to whatever Challoner said. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall, because I think they must have got an utter bollocking, mustn't they?
Yeah.
At half time, because they came out and straight away we were on the attack and we had a chance. And I think he's read them the riot act, and all of that stuff. It's all building character and building confidence as we go forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And you learn, like you just hit the nail on the head. You learn more from things like that. And the second half, straight from the whistle in the second half, we just looked like a completely different. I wouldn't say completely different team, but completely different mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to say, big. I'm going to say shout out, but massive respect to, was it Macaulay Southam Hales, who in the middle of the second half tracked back when their lad was 1-on-1. And got in and blocked it for a corner. I mean, Jesus Christ!
And there was one that Hogan did similar first half as well to bail us out.
Yeah, so I've got that in my notes to talk about actually with Hogan and Rooney. I mean, if we just go through some of the things in the second half, then that sort of in timeline order, if we can remember it. I know it was only last night, but so Sarcevic scored. The really good header. Me and my lad noticed that the keeper checked. If he goes for it first time, he probably gets it, but he checks thinking it's either going wide or hits the post. So he sort of, I won't say trickled in, but it went in slow motion for me.
It did seem to take forever, didn't it? And then it just dropped in at the last minute.
Yeah.
Even having seen because they showed the highlights on BT after the Halifax game. And even watching it on the highlights, you think there's no way that's going in. The keeper's got that. And it is just ridiculous in slow motion. Like, what's happening here? How's he not got that? But it was a great header, to be fair, though. Bottom corner. You've got to give the keeper something to worry about. And fantastic.
Great strength, because it, like you say, it was a bit of an awkward angle for him to get his head on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have much momentum from the flight of the ball, did he? Good strong neck muscles. Muscles, that. I'm trying to remember whether Crankshaw came on before the start at 0-0 or did he come on at 1-0? But I
think he came on at after the goal. Yeah,
was it 1-0? Yeah, I mean he just injected. It was like a shot in the arm for the whole team. Wasn't it? Unbelievable.
Incredible.
It's just scary having those options. It's absolutely frightening to just it's not really going our way. Oh, we'll just look to one of the Football League quality players that we've got on the bench. Mental.
No, it's good. It's really good. He's a box of frogs, isn't he? And then obviously the two players Hogan's kind of standing out over a period of time, and he's definitely redeemed himself. He's back on form. He looks solid again.
Well, I'd take issue with the phrase redeemed himself. I think he bailed us out enough times that when he has had this spell where he struggled, it's a no-brainer that you'd stick by him. I mean, there's been some stupid stuff written online in that time, but he's been absolutely just a proper leader.
Yeah,
I have to disagree. I didn't think. Obviously, he had that sort of goal-saving clearance, whatever. But for me, when he gets the ball where everybody else is looking to move it quickly, he takes too much time. He's too ponderous, and it slows everything down. It allows the opposition to get back into their shape. Like, Maidenhead were very good at doing that. And there's these lapses in concentration where, like, he's just not paying attention, and then something will just go past him. Or I don't think he's there yet. I don't want to be too critical of him, but I'm not sure I would say that his whole entire performance was good last night.
I think he's been I think he's been better in recent weeks than he was last night. And when what you said about him being ponderous on the ball, that does worry me sometimes. He seems to have that. It's that thing Jack Wilshere used to do, where he waits until the last possible moment to get
It's
rid of the
almost
ball.
like, he's like he can't decide what to do.
Yeah.
And just that extra, even an extra half a second, gives them, the onus is on them then to sort of get back. And if you play the ball quickly, like a lot of the rest of the team do, that's when we're catching teams out because they're not in their shape. But yeah, I know a lot of people praised him and have done in recent weeks. I think he was pretty good against Dagenham, but for me, it worries me. I'm not quite there to say that he's back, and he's. I think the plan will be to play Ryan. What's he called? Forgotten his surname. Ryan Johnson, maybe there, and then go from there.
Do you think Ryan Johnson at right side of centre back?
Yeah, no, other side, and he's left-footed.
Yeah. I think when I said redeem himself, I was more thinking of his form, because he did have a dip in form, which coincided. I mean, whether you think it matters or not, coincided with the birth of his twins. Did he have birth?
I mean, he's had like mental health struggles as well, which
Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did a video for the.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And talked about it, which I think was really massively brave of him and really an important thing to do. None of what I've said is personal towards him at all. It's just purely in terms of his play,
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough. And if I think he's playing well. Yeah, I agree with you on speed. He isn't the fastest, but I just think that's his game. I mean, the test will come when we play the teams that are up there and are on form. Maidenhead are on form, and I would say, in terms of a 45 minutes worth of football, they give us probably the biggest test we've had since Rusk was here. So what? Who?
That was we just had no manager for 8 months. That
seems like another lifetime, that, doesn't it?
It does.
We hadn't until about, it must be about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We'd not been in the playoffs at all this season. We'd not been in the playoff place at all this season until a few weeks ago, and that's what a turnaround. Yeah.
Well, there's tweets doing the rounds on Twitter.
On Twitter.
That's where tweets do the rounds. What I meant was there was the stats doing the rounds on Twitter. I think we were on Christmas Day. Were we 10th on -4 or -1 goals?
Yes, I think was it -1? I think I saw it last night.
Yeah,
-1.
So within between Christmas Day and now, which is a month and a day, we've gone from there to top. It's just unbelievable. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
It's hard, isn't it? Not to.
I've got quotes for an open top bus here, mate.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm going to start a crowdfunder.
It's funny. That's what I mean. I do listen to the other podcasts, as I've said on this podcast, and some of them do get ahead of themselves. It's really funny to hear them. Obviously, I'm sat there fuming because they're all thinking we should have 10 points more than they've got and things like this. And we'll come to that later. But
we've had a message from a comment from Ian Dowden. Is Rusk on his way to Chesterfield?
Oh, that would be so funny, wouldn't it?
Fingers crossed.
But you just know it'll be pure county, won't it? If that happens and he gets some firing and he gets some going.
I
can't see it.
If that happens, I'm going out buying lottery tickets. If that happens, because in fact, I'm just going to go and that list of female celebrities that I fancy. I'm just going to start shooting my shot with them, because if that happens, anything's possible. Me and Keely Hawes, baby.
Yeah, you've mentioned her too many times. I think the police are going to be onto you.
They already are, mate. That's why I mentioned her on here.
Yeah. What about Rooney? Rooney came on, got his goal, very good goal by all accounts.
Meant a lot to him, didn't it? You could see that.
Yeah.
I think it was like all those goals he scored last season and didn't get to soak it in with the fans. I think that was it coming out last night. Yeah,
Yeah,
great,
maybe
that.
a bit of frustration at not being in the first team as well. Yeah, he definitely enjoyed it, and it was a great goal, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you alluded to before, Nick. It's scary that we've got Cranks and Rooney on the bench.
Ben Whitfield still to come back
that's
as
it.
well.
Quicks and Whitfield are out injured.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah.
I
think possibly a new striker as well, maybe.
Yeah, it is a bit of a struggle without Quigley. I think it certainly flows a lot easier when he's there, like winning the headers and holding the ball up and all that stuff that he does, you know. But the fact that we're winning without him, it's just all positive, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the area that I think we're light in is probably centre halves. Considering we had about 58 of those at the start of the season, it does feel, as for some reason, it does feel a bit light. If we get a couple of injuries in that area,
we've got Keane to come back now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bloody hell, yeah.
He was playing really well before he got injured as well.
Yeah.
Take it all back.
Yeah.
Take it all back.
Maybe that's who might come in place of Hogan, perhaps.
Yeah, because that's where Keane was when Hogan was out. That's where Keane was on the right of the three. Yeah.
Yeah, before I got my lefts and rights mixed up.
Yeah, and don't forget. And don't forget, Minihan could do a job there as well. I would say.
He has done a couple of times, hasn't he? Before. Yeah.
So we've got good depth, haven't we? I mean, I noticed last night that Riedel came off. Kitching went to left wing back.
That's the new go-to sub, that, isn't it? That's move Kitchen to left back and put Johnson in. It works perfect.
Yeah.
It gives us something else to think. Imagine you're the fullback for Maidenhead thinking, oh, at least Rydell's going off, and then we stick Kitchen there. You're just thinking, oh, what's the point?
So if Johnson takes that role sort of on a more permanent basis, do you think Kitchen or Rydell will take the wing back role? Who do you think will drop to the bench?
I think either or, really. I think they both be just as good as each other there. I think it's just a nice little rotation option, isn't it? Yeah. It's just nice to be able to. If God forbid there was an injury to Rydell, it's just, well, we've got Kitchen. It was at least as good as him.
And he can cross the ball really well, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to call it. I'd like to think that between the three of them, and someone's mentioned Ethan Pye as well. There's cover there as well.
Ben Barkley as well. The lesser
Ben Barkley. God, I forgot about Ben. Yeah, we don't. It doesn't feel like now we've all got it all out in the open. Ben Barkley,
and there's the youth team lad Holden, who made his debut in the FA Trophy as well.
Yeah. Hey,
and I'll do it if they all get injured. get me registered.
Before we move on, because I did want to spend some time to talk about Collar a bit, but before we move on, a question here from Jake Smallwood. What do we think about Alex Reid's situation? Apparently he's declining offers to leave. Yeah, I heard that on the grapevine.
Solihull, I heard, which, given that's his neck of the woods, is you can't blame him, but I don't know.
Is he on good money here and he's just happy to...
That's it. He's got another year and a half left.
Yeah,
but the thing is, when he gets to the end of that year and a half, if he does just try and stick it out, how many teams are going to want to gamble on a player who's shown no inclination for 18 months? It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a shame as well, because last season, first half of the season, we played a system that got the best out of him. Obviously, Rusk came in, and that partnership was broken up, him and Bennett. I can see why we gave him a new contract at the end of the season, because if he'd scored 20 goals and we'd let him go on a free, given the stick that Simon Wilson was already getting, you're asking for trouble, aren't you? So it makes sense that we gave him a new contract. But yeah,
it's a shame because he could do a job somewhere else. I mean, obviously he's really nowhere near the standard that we're playing at now. But I think he could do a good job somewhere else.
Yeah, and he might have a part to play in our squad, because we're on the 26th now. If we don't sign this mysterious backup to Quiggs, and Quiggs gets injured again, and maybe Connor Jennings does, he might get called in and need to do a job for us anyway.
I respectfully disagree. But
I think he's capable of doing that.
I'm not sure.
No. Yeah, that Ross. There's two of us.
No. Well, trying to run a professional podcast here, Nick.
What are you doing that after this?
Well, we can't do it with you on it, can we? Fucking hell.
Language.
So, no, but he can because and saying that he can't, he did it last season. So why can't he? Why can't he?
He did it as part of a two, but I think if Quiggs is going to be out, it's obviously Madden is the one who's in the role that was Alex Reid's, and Quigley is almost in the Richie Bennett role. So you're asking Alex Reid role, which I don't think, as much as he does have many qualities, I don't think back to goal, holding the ball up, bringing others into play is his game. Myself.
And do you think when I've seen him when he's come on at one of the, can't remember what it was, but one of the home games, that with the tempo that we play now, that he looks off the pace. He looks like not just his running, but maybe his reactions to things are a little bit too slow. Not a lot, but just enough so that the rest of the team are playing at a higher frequency almost.
I agree. You need game time for that. So without game time, then I think that's kind of I'd say unfair on him, really. To play him, you'd have to change your final third system somehow to accommodate him. But what I'm saying is, if there's no other choice, he's not a bad one to have in. And I did notice Maidenhead Ali was warming up with the team yesterday before the match. So obviously,
I think we'd be more likely to see him than Reid.
Yeah, he's probably ahead. He's probably ahead. But what I'm saying is, if he doesn't leave and it does come to it, he's going to be ahead of. He'll get a chance. Do you know what I mean?
I feel that because Challoner is such a perfectionist that I don't know. I think he might be hesitant to put him in somehow. But like you say, maybe if injuries and whatever come into it, that he might be open to giving him a chance. I don't know. There's just something inside me that makes me feel that he likes who he likes, if you know what I mean. And I can't really back that up, but it's just the feeling that I get.
PJRC has said it was poor. Yeah, I didn't think he particularly shone against a team a few levels down.
No, but then some of the others that came in didn't as well. So
absolutely, but you think he would? But some of the others that came in had kind of already proved themselves under Challoner in other games. But I think Reid, since Challoner's come in, I don't think he's proven himself. I'd be very surprised if we see him even in a. I think we might be more likely to get the fella from Scunthorpe back again than we don't even know if he's at Scunthorpe now. I think he's just wandering down the motorway somewhere.
He probably is. We should have done our research, shouldn't we, and found out where he was. We should have done it. Let's move on. Will Collar then. I wanted to speak about Will Collar as an individual because his form recently has just been off the scale. I have done some research. I hope this is right. If this research is wrong, then I'm just going to give up, to be quite honest. I make it 8 games, 6 goals, 5 assists in the last 8 games because he didn't get any last night, did he? I don't think.
No. I think that's right. I think. Yeah.
And he's just
transformed.
You can't believe. I mean, when Rusk was playing a midfield 2 of Rooney and Crowsdale, it's like, well, we need a midfielder. We need to sign a midfielder because, especially if he's going to play a 3. And we actually had a star midfielder and we didn't really realise. It's crazy that he was just there and we didn't know what he was capable of.
I did a great interview with Sam Byrne last week. It's on Sam Byrne's website, and that is well worth a read because he just says it wasn't that he had a problem with Rusk or anything. It's just he wasn't getting a sustained run of games Whereas that seems to be Challinger's thing. Challinger likes a settled side, and he's not the only one who's benefited from that. The amount of players, like Palmer earlier this season, he was in and out of the team, and just everyone's improved for playing regular football. It seems like common sense when you think about it, but clearly not. If someone with a continental UEFA license hasn't done it,
Well, I just wonder whether it's the under-23 way. You give players some time in the first team, and then you rotate them a bit because they're under 23s, and it's all about development, isn't it? Giving everybody, like under 12s, everyone pays a tenner a week, so you've got to give them all so many minutes on the pitch, which it's not as professional football. And now he's had a run in the team. He just looks unstoppable. He's probably I can't think of a better midfielder in the league at the moment.
Nope. I can't think of another midfielder in the league
that doesn't play for us. Oh, Division 5, eh? Love it. Love Division 5. Okay,
love it while you can, mate, so it won't be here much longer.
Oh, I hope so, mate. Jesus Christ.
Don't know what you got till it's gone. Okay, yeah, I wanted to pull that out really for William Guy Collar. That's his name, isn't it? Okay, before we move
on Twitter, giving players full names with the middle name. Keep seeing it.
Yeah, it's because was it on that Who Are They? So one of the players mentioned his full name on Who Are They on one of Who Are They videos. Yeah, I think that's where it's from. Before we move on to sort of the current form and who we've got left and fixtures and things, just to remind everybody, if you could please subscribe if you haven't already to the channel, that'd be really useful for us, and like the video, and that would be really good too. Just a reminder to do that. Okay, so I wanted to do a bit on current form because we are top of the league, and I do like saying that. There's a lot said about who we've got left to play, especially our last. Is it our last 4 games? It's a pretty.
We'll be out of sight by then.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. If we're 12 points clear, by the time we come to the last 4 games, I'd be pretty happy with that.
What's the stat? There's a stat been doing the rounds about the number of players who've scored for us this season. I think there's only. I think of the team that played last night. I think, well, obviously Hinchcliffe. But do you reckon if we get to the final day and we've got the League One and we get a penalty, they'll let Hinchcliffe take it? I would.
Possibly, yeah.
Because he's got form as well. He took a great one last season, didn't he?
Yeah.
In the shootout.
You mean if we're already up and stuff and it does nothing riding on?
Well, no. Even if we need to score a penalty in the last minute of the final game, I agree with John Kieran. I agree with John Kieran on that though. Goalkeepers on penalties, yeah, all for it. Because they know how to put the foot through a ball, don't they?
They do, yeah.
They're not going to piss about shuffling around like an idiot.
Yeah. Doing a really long run up. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So those last 4 that we're due to play, I think am I right in saying I know Halifax, Chesterfield, and Wrexham are in that last 4, aren't they? And
Boreham Wood.
Boreham Wood as well. But just looking at some of the form tables, I know we are the form team for the past 20 matches, which obviously goes a bit further back than Dave Challiner's reign. With a form table, obviously we're top of the league. On the away table, we're top of the away table, but you won't be surprised to know that the home table we're down in something like 9th or 10th.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, how many stupid points we dropped at home? It's mostly earlier in the season, isn't it? Have we? I think it's been all pretty much wins since then. Yeah, still playing catch up ever so slightly.
Yeah, I think was it. I know it was Yeovil and Dagenham, wasn't it? Oh, and Barnet as well. So it's just those 3 losses really that set us apart from on the home form from being top of it. Being top of that. But we have played less than most at home as well, so we've got more home matches to play than we have away matches. So I mean that speaks volumes, doesn't it? That away from home we've played 13 and we're top of that table, but at home we've only played 11 and we're down in 9th or 10th.
It's mad, isn't it? It's just
yeah.
Can you say something negative, please? It's horrible. I feel like I'm in a support group.
I've not got anything negative to say because even since Challoner's been here, the defeat against Torquay, I think we hit the post twice in the bar, I think, or vice versa. And when we could have won it, we should have won it. I haven't got anything negative to say. Well, that's your job,
same.
Nick. So
I've got nothing, mate. I've got nothing. I don't like your t-shirt.
Have you got anything negative to say, Chloe?
The annoying thing is I do as well. So.
No, but the people behind me in the first half did. They are plenty.
It's funny that, isn't it? Because I know a City fan that goes, and he's been going for a long time. And he says now it's so annoying because if one of their players misplaces a pass, they're right down the throat of that player, even though they're playing like.
That's what it felt like to me in the first half. That it was like whoa, like just chill out.
Yeah.
It's still 0-0. You don't need to be having a go at the players when in general they're doing so well. It's just.
I mean, what were these people like when we were getting beat by Guiseley and Leamington?
Well, they weren't here, mate.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, were they there? Were they there?
They were watching City and United on telly, and then they saw the Bolton game on BBC and thought, "Oh, I'll have a bit of that. I'll go and help my local team out, and I won't let them hear the end." In 20 years' time, I'll be going, "Oh, I used to help you out in the 2020s," and the whole cycle will continue again.
So, in fact, let's just touch on that a bit because the comments are coming in. The negatives. I know you talk about people saying, these day Johnny come lately, day trippers, whatever you want to call them. What do you think about the little numpties that are shining a bloody laser pen last night? Don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, it's just really annoying because when we're doing so well, you don't want anything to jeopardise that, and these incidents seem to be sort of on the increase and adding up. But actually, my day job today, the podcast that I've done is all about an increase generally in these kind of incidents. And I spoke to someone from the University of Manchester who's kind of expert on football crowds, and he was saying that these sort of maybe 15 and 16-year-olds, they've come to football games after a period of lockdown where they were stuck at home. And before that, they were maybe only 11, 12, so not really old enough to go on their own. And now suddenly they've been unleashed and allowed on their own to go. And that sort of euphoria, I guess, of freedom and that is causing this bad behaviour. And it is a national trend. It's not just us, but it was really interesting to dig into it for a podcast sort of talking nationally when I've seen it firsthand at county, seen it happening. So, yeah.
It's very strange, and it's just... But who brings... when you're getting ready to go out to the match, it's like, right, season ticket, phone, keys, wallet. Oh, my laser pen.
Yeah, or my tennis ball.
Yeah, tennis ball. Yeah, that was a weird one. Yeah, it was taking tennis ball. That's odd. So odd.
Yeah. I mean, it's there is probably some truth in that, Chloe. But I just think, well, I don't know. I need to be careful what I say. It just smacks of the types. These are the types of people that are doing wheelies in the street and not getting out of the way for the cars and stuff like that.
With them tiny little bags on.
Yeah, and now they're coming to the football. I saw them at the top of Upper Tier 1 or stroke Upper Tier 2. There was a group of them. They were in a circle almost, just talking to each other. They weren't even watching the match.
No, that's the thing. They don't even seem interested in it.
No.
I'm in Lower Tier 5, and there was a big group, probably of about 50 sort of 14 and 15-year-olds, and they were marched down from presumably the upper tier right down the steps, and they were and they situated them all in like row A, B, and C right at the front. So they'd obviously been causing a nuisance, been doing something they shouldn't, and they got shifted. But
that was last night, was it? Sorry.
Last night, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're looking at them thinking they're not even looking at the pitch. A lot of them. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for kids coming to the game, and you know, I don't know. I saw some young lads with Vernon Bear in the concourse in the Cheadle end, and they were taking the mickey out of Vernon Bear a bit. You know, running up to him and going zoo, giving it all that sort of stuff. And I thought that's fair enough. That's just kids being kids. That, do you know what I mean? They were on their own. Yeah. They were probably 12 or 13 or something. But being in packs at the back and throwing stuff, it's just plain wrong. And maybe the solution is, you know, we've got this shiny new security firm, haven't we? Why are they not stood up at the back watching who's doing what? I don't understand why they're not doing that.
There's a shiny new camera has been put in now, from hanging from the Cheadle end ceiling.
Is it?
There's a new camera, yeah. That's been there a few weeks at least.
They did give out some banning orders the other day, didn't they, as well?
Yeah.
But
the stewards last night were concentrating on removing a Scott Quigley flag on the wing. One individual. So if that's the priority of the stewards, then.
Well, this again, I don't want to give too many spoilers because the podcast's out tomorrow. But talking to this guy from University of Manchester, the other interesting thing he said was that when football games went behind closed doors, a lot of the very experienced stewards were suddenly out of work. And he said a lot of them then got jobs like as HGV drivers or as Amazon drivers where the demand was. And now that football's back, they've had to recruit new people because they'd left their positions. And these newer people are not experienced. And that is a problem that they are having with trying to police the games.
Yeah. I totally. I've seen it firsthand.
Absolutely.
So for the ulti match, was it the ulti match at home? I can't remember, but a couple of lads, young lads, early 20s, brought beer up to the seats. I mean, loads of people do that. It's wrong, but you know, people get away with it. 2 young stewards came up to tell them to like discard of it or go back down. They just got ignored.
Yeah,
they just got ignored, and it's that thing of, well, I'm just going to ignore you. What are you going to do about it?
And they're not really, to be fair to them, like if they don't really know how to handle it.
No, they don't. They're not experienced enough, are they?
They're not experienced enough, and they're not particularly well paid. They're not going to want to be bothered to do it, are they? It's not worth the hassle.
That's it. Yeah, it's not worth the. Yeah, absolutely.
I've worked in jobs like that as well. I've worked in jobs where you've had to kind of tell someone not to do something or like tell off a customer or whatever. And when they do start giving it back, you just think, well, I'm not getting paid enough. I'm not getting paid more for dealing with this. So I'm minimum wage here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you don't want to get in trouble either for your reaction to it.
I did it once when I worked in a bar. Like, I caught some guy doing coke in the toilets while I was working in a bar. I asked him, and I ended up on the floor with him strangling me. So it's like, well, I'm just not going to bother in future then.
Yeah,
I'll just leave it. I'll just let whatever happens happen. Apart from if someone's getting killed or something, I'd probably like say something. If someone's getting murdered, I'd be like, "Can you stop, please?"
You'd say something.
I'd look for a steward. But like you said, they're busy like searching drums and confiscating flags. So
yeah, I think the priorities are all wrong, aren't they? I mean, don't be taking down flags. I mean, even common sense for that steward that came and did that would prevail, and surely and say, well, to the person, well, what is it actually offending you by being there? Why is it offending you? I don't understand.
If anyone does know the actual reason, if anyone from the club is like watching and wants to know, like knows of it, it'd be good to know. Just saves this baseless speculation, because it's going to become like a little game of Chinese whispers now, where it's just going to the whole rumours around it are just going to snowball until it's like, oh, well, one of the fans like got beaten up by Elvis back in the 60s, so he don't want to have to look at a flag on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gospel now.
But these new fans, we'll call them, these new young fans, they just need educating. Whether that's us fans that need to do that, the younger lads who are who've been coming for a long time, or around that age, or maybe slightly older, could sort of take them under the wing and say, no, this is how we do it. Maybe come to some away games. This is how we do it. Go on the train and all that kind of stuff.
That's happened before. Back when we were in the National North, we kind of had some new teenage fans and what have you who didn't quite get what it was all about. And yeah, people did kind of take them under the wing, teach them the old songs and everything. So maybe, but it's a shame that it's kind of fragmented the fan base now as well, because the people who are making the actual noise and creating an atmosphere. I mean, I'm not saying you need a drum to have an atmosphere. There's plenty of clubs that don't have a drum and create a decent atmosphere, but it clearly helps us, especially a night like last night where it's freezing cold. People have come straight from work. It's a bit of a tense first half. You kind of need whatever you can to help out. So it's a real shame that the vocal support.
Yeah, because there were like different songs going on as well, weren't they? It was like it wasn't coordinated.
No,
Yeah,
that's it.
We need to be all as one, don't we? Because if we are part of the team. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line, really. Challoner says he wants his team to give us something to get up about and become part of it. We need to be part of that. And if it's all fragmented and there's all these factions, then it's not going to be, is it? We're going to end up like some of the bigger grounds where they've just let this manifest probably, and it's quiet now as they've gone up the leagues. And we definitely don't want to be that.
Especially coming into like a crucial point of the season where there's going to be like last night. There's going to be times where we need that backing. They need us to be backing them. That's because it's like chicken and the egg thing, isn't it? Really, it's like, well, do the players need the fans to kind of like make a noise and get them going, or do the fans need the players to do something to make them make a noise? Where in reality it's somewhere in the middle. So the sooner that can get sorted, the better.
Yeah, I think we need to be dynamic in that regard. So when they need us, we can step up. And when we need them, then they need to step up. If they can sense it and we can sense it.
A symbiotic relationship is what I believe it's called.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to the fixtures then. So we've got Barnet away on Saturday. And when I look at these, I just think I can't see where our next loss is going to come from, although it's going to happen at some point. Barnet away. I'll skip over the Cheshire Senior Cup. Then Dover at home. Dover at home, and I'm prawn sandwich brigading at the Dover match for my birthday. Then the big test is Chesterfield, and then we've got a break with Cheshunt after that in the Build Base FA Trophy.
Oh, you have done your research, because I've been waiting for you to pronounce it Cheshunt, and I was going to jump all over you, mate.
Chestnut. I thought Chestnut was the first one.
Well, I've seen people saying like without irony that we've got Chestnut in the next round of the cup, and they're not joking. People genuinely do think that's what they're called.
Yeah, I said what you said. I got that wrong, didn't I? Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I
got it right though. Well done, mate. Well done.
Yeah, I know.
You've been
Chestnut.
doing your geography.
I should have got it right, because I've been talking to one of their fans to come on. We'll cover that later. So so it doesn't look. I mean, apart from the Chesterfield match in the sort of the short term future, then it's looking pretty good. Anything negative to say?
I twisted my ankle on the curb coming out of the ground last night.
Oh, but that's hilarious.
Someone wants to do something about that.
Okay, should we move on to? I don't know how long we're going to talk about this, but should we move on to the fact that Chesterfield seems to be imploding? Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, there's imploding, and then there's whatever the hell is. I don't like to take pleasure in the misery. Oh no, I do. Sorry, really do. But it's not just. I mean, he's always struck me as a bit of a dickhead. Regardless, I've always thought that manager was a dickhead. Even when he was at Gloucester and I saw him being interviewed and stuff, I thought, mate, you're a dickhead. But it's not just that with Chesterfield; it's the stuff during COVID. getting the vaccinations, all the furlough stuff, just like spending money on Shimanga and having the frost covers thing. The weird Chelsea loving, like literally everything that Chelsea tweet, like, "Oh, hiya, boys, do you remember us?"
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's just so. But the thing is, there's talk of like ex-players coming out the woodwork and saying he's a bully and stuff. Obviously, this is what they're claiming. I'm not saying this is gospel,
allegedly,
but that's what they're claiming. So if they're top of the league with an alleged bully as manager, then you'd only think getting rid of him could go on to galvanise them. It could have the reverse effect.
I don't know. I just think any upheaval at this stage, unplanned upheaval.
It's coincided as well with them having a bit of a wobble in results, which it's not really a good sign for them, I don't think. Did you see that allegedly he'd been suspended from West Ham as well? The same guy. Yeah.
Oh no, he was suspended. That's not allegedly. He was suspended, and he had to go on like.
I was just covering ourselves in case of any potential.
Someone should. Sodom the furlough, raffle fixing, crooked spire, Peak District bastards. Sodom.
Do you know, I got forced to have a fish cake in Chesterfield. It's a funny story. We
there's a podcast title.
We were on our way to Notts County and we stopped at the Chippy in Chesterfield. And we said like a small fish and chips. And the guy at the fish shop said, well, it's lunchtime. And with the lunchtime deal, you get a fish cake as well with the fish and chips. And I was like, I don't want a fish cake with it. And he was like, you might as well. It's free. And he was like getting dead cross. I was like, okay, I'll have the fish cake. So, yeah.
Your bloody fish cake pushing, crooked spire, furlough, Peak District.
Oh, bastard. And then he said, "Oh, you can have a sausage," and I was like, "That don't really go with fish."
No, I wouldn't eat fish anyway. So that's I wouldn't have gone into a fish shop in Chesterfield in the first place.
That was the mistake. That was definitely the mistake.
Just looking at some of the looking at some of the comments that are coming in, I totally agree with this. When we talked about rivals a couple of weeks ago and who were our rivals, Chesterfield back in '97, and so those of a certain age will remember that we had a cup run to the obviously Coca-Cola Cup semi-final. They went to the FA Cup final. I think we beat 4 Premier League teams. They beat none or one, if I remember rightly.
And then in the semi-final, they got done over by David Ellery, which is a familiar feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. But when Left Bollocks has hated Chesterfield since they tried to steal our Coca-Cola semi-final thunder in '97 by reaching the FA Cup semi-final. What boiled my piss that year was that they won giant killers of the season, and we'd beat 4 Premier League teams, and they'd only beat none or one. So that to me always sticks out. I don't really like Chesterfield. So all this stuff now, the frost covers and the furlough and all this kind of stuff and the admin. Then I go and listen to their podcast. This was before they drew with Aldershot and before, obviously, James Rowe got suspended. And they're so confident. And they were saying things like, I feel sorry for Aldershot, because they got beat by Maidenhead. They feel sorry for Aldershot coming up this week because they're going to get it now. They're going to get it. They're really going to get it. It was 0-0.
But are they just like ignoring the whole saga?
No, but that podcast was before all this saga came up. Yeah. They kind of ignored. I mean, I've got to say, for everybody listening, we have got 2 of them coming on in a couple of weeks to preview our game. They're really nice, honestly. They're good, but it's going to be such a laugh.
It'd be funny if their podcast this week. It's just going to be. It's like being on the deck of the Titanic. It's like, it's all right. Just a bit wet. It's all right. They're just water up to each kid. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's just Kate Winslet going past the door. It's all right. It's all right.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Well, if they listen to this, if they do research and listen to this, they're not going to be happy when they come on, are they?
But I've done messages and stuff to get preparing for it, and they're pretty sort of obviously self-aware of what's going on and things. So I think it's going to be a really good podcast.
Are we doing it but via this method, or are we just going to meet in a car park near Stoke or something?
Yeah, podcast. Yeah, like Anchorman. Don't just the face.
Where'd you get a hand grenade, Russ?
So yeah, but they did say. I've got to say, they did say on their podcast that they thought that we were the only ones threatening their title thing.
Well, Maidenhead had a good go of ruining the title party, didn't they? Sorry, the title workplace gathering. Maidenhead had a good old go, but they've had the day out, sod 'em, in the words of Gary Stopforth.
Maybe worth keeping an eye on Boreham Wood. Got some games in hand, haven't they?
They've still got the games in hand. Yeah, that's it.
And they've only conceded 14 goals and lost twice this season. So
that's a bonkers record. That. When I look at the table at weekend, their defence, we must be on form for set pieces that day, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they don't score many though, to be fair. So, whatever it is, it sounds like they're very tight in terms of how they play. I would say, but yeah, equally as good at home and away as well. So, I know we're playing them at our place, aren't we? I don't think that'll have a bearing for them. Okay, anything else you want to talk about before we start to wrap things up?
We should have a natter. Well, first, Chloe, tell us where we can find your podcast. Tell the listeners and the viewers.
You can just, wherever you get your podcast, you can search for it. It's called Playmaker. And it's a different football-related story every weekday, and it's just about they're all under 10 minutes long, so yeah,
tremendous. Also in other news, Geordie Hatter is back with the away day show on the new day and time of Friday because he's busy Saturday morning. Is it something to do with bikes? I think it's like a cycling proficiency course he's got bought for Christmas, so he's doing that Saturday. So
cycling maintenance, I think.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I saw cycling and course and just filled the gap myself.
What's the LP? I know what the LP is. It's one of my favourites.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. My other half chose this today. She said, "Are you going to change your vinyl?" And because I was in a bit of a foul mood when I got in, I was like, "Oh, I'll just leave it. Fine." And then so she put that up for me, so she'll be delighted. Not that she's still watching, if at all.
It's funny you should put that up because I've been listening. I bought some Cities the other day, mint condition, limited edition, mint condition, still wrapped. And I've been listening to Lost Souls as well today, and I can't get enough of the Doves at the minute. Yeah.
Saw him a couple of years ago at Kendall Calling. Very, very good. Yeah,
nice.
It was a reunion thing. Pissed it down, but it meant I got to watch it from like my own little private island. Great.
Nice. I got to see. Do you remember they did where there was just the two brothers did a little band, didn't they? Did an album together. And
yes.
I got to see them perform.
Sub.
No, something else. It was something else. I'll message you after because this is not great for football.
Yes, it's boring, this, isn't it?
But yeah, but I'll message you after. But yeah, they did an album, and I got to see them live at XFM Studios at the XFM Radio in Manchester. Yeah, a little intimate gig, and there was just us and maybe 10 others. Anyway,
the star banger, aren't you?
I know, yeah. That's what we need to talk about as well. So if you've left unlucky, because the numbers have gone down slightly, the gig from last week with Gary Stopforth and Mike Flynn.
Yeah. God, that was good, wasn't it?
It was an absolute roaring success. It was.
Yeah.
It was really
good pies, good booze. List of people to thank then. So Andy and everyone at Notion. Ben Walker for the shirts. Rob Brittner for the music. ABBA are livid. People have been thanking ABBA for the music when really
they should be thanking Rob Brittner.
Should have been thanking Rob Brittner like we are. So ABBA. Yeah. There's another one coming up soon, isn't there? We're finalising it, and it'll be March. We think we've got a guest and a theme sorted, so we just need to get that in the diary. And if you've not seen it on social media, Gary Stopforth did a fantastic rendition of American Pie, which is, of all the things we didn't expect to happen that night, that's right up there.
Yeah, yes, it was funny because Rob, who's a friend of mine and my wife's, he'd never played American Pie before, so he just got the chords up on his phone and just like improvised this American Pie. It was so good, wasn't it? And he wasn't that bad. He wasn't bad.
He's got pipes. Yeah.
But yeah, Flinny was on form with some of the stories. We will get some of the clips out, the ones that we can get out. We'll put those out. Yeah. But for everybody that was there, I mean, it seemed to go down really well, and everybody, was really positive about it. And I was loving the fact that there was like the room was laughing so many times. The whole room was like in laughter. It was like there was a comedian there when there wasn't a comedian there at all. There was no comedian in that room.
I know. So, get one next time. Get one.
Maybe you should.
Yeah. Although there was one joke that I used in my little set at the start that I've literally used like 6 or 7 times, and it has killed. And then I did it and was just faced with like Gaz Eccleston and Cy Lomas just looking at me blankly. I was like, oh shit, I've misjudged this one then, haven't I? Oh yeah. Awful business.
Yeah. Cy Lomas says there was a comedian on the second row. Yeah, we know.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to tell him a different date for the next one. We're going to tell Jack Isherwood the night before. I don't think he'll notice.
No, it was good. It was good. I had lots of fun. So we got that coming up. Obviously, I just mentioned the Chesterfield guests. We've got those coming up. We have got a Cheshunt guest. If you say it really fast, it's nearly swearing at you that. So we have got that coming up as well. Hopefully he'll come on. He seems a bit nervous, but hopefully we'll get him on, and he probably supports someone else as well.
He does. I've checked.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Well, that can't be helped, can it?
I had a look on his profile when he DM'd us back. I had a look on his profile, and like the second tweet down was like his team. I'll let it be a surprise for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
God,
nice,
that doesn't sound good at all.
I know. I can't remember who it was. I just remember being some like generic Premier League team. So it's probably like Southampton or Crystal Palace or someone like that, or Watford. Just someone there.
Right. So where is Cheshunt?
I love the fact you're pronouncing it different every time. I love this. Yeah. So it's London. It's London way. And I'll even find out now.
So it's southeast London, is it? Right. So he'll be a United fan. You just know it, don't you?
Oh no, actually, it was Tottenham. Sorry, it was Tottenham.
Oh, right.
So yeah. When I said it was a team that was meh, I was correct.
Right. So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get him on.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
welcome.
Yeah. Let's get him on. And then just general reminders, usual reminders. Keep on using the Fan Hub app. And yeah, that's going to be improving all the time. There's a pretty nice feature coming soon in the coming weeks. That if you get 11 out of 11 on your prediction, then you automatically get a reward, and it's a pretty good reward as well. But I can't tell you just yet. And then mid this year, all your fan shares are going to be converted into coins. So we're currently working on that to get that out, and your fan shares will be tradable. So keep on earning those fan shares. Yeah. And yeah, just a shout out for, I can't fucking shout out. I'm nearly 41. Shut up, Russ.
You can do what you want, Russ.
Just to mention somebody else, Sid Freeman does some decent vlogs as well. I know he's watching now. He's been commenting, but yeah, his stuff goes in through the Fan Hub, but you can get him on YouTube as well. So look at his stuff, and that's pretty good. Anything else from anybody else? No? Right. Thanks to everybody for listening, watching, either whether you're live or back on YouTube or on the podcast. cheers to Chloe. You're going to be back in March, aren't you? Early March with us.
Yeah, I am.
Brilliant. And in the meantime, don't forget to catch Chloe's daily podcast from Tortoise.
That's it.
And as always, Nick, my comrade, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, mate.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure.
Right.
I hope you have me back again.
Well, I'll think about it. Right. Cheers, everyone. Bye.
This is the Scarf Bagara War, a Stockport County fan-created podcast, blog, YouTube live show and website. Find us at thescarfbagarawar.co.uk. For county fans, by county fans.